Nice to have you in the house, PA. You know I'm a PA girl. Lexington, Edgewood, New Mexico. I am really craving a trip to New Mexico. I've never been to the Southwest. I really want to go. Kansas, Jackson. Of course, Lisa from the Bronx. Lisa, we just got tickets to go see the Yanks play the O's in Camden Yards. Do you ever post the recipes pre-class? I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw that one to Eleanor. Evelyn, if I visit New Mexico, we're going to have to get together. Yes, Lily, this recording will be shared. Well, good morning. I want you guys to keep those coming in. I am Chris Van Bloom. I am thrilled to be representing AARP Maryland here today, and with me, the fabulous, the amazing, the incredible Karen Morgan. Good morning, Karen.
Oh, that's how you do it. That's how, oh, okay. That came out like a crab, but it's a heart. Whatever.
I think Gen Z is doing like something like this now. I can't keep up. I gave up.
Forget about it.
Yeah, I think I just saw North Dakota in the house. My goodness, this is the best. Cheryl, I recognize that name. Good morning to you. Everyone, I am so thrilled to be with you this morning. So listen, Karen is with us today because not only is she the most amazing volunteer that we have in Maryland, thank you very much, but it is Fraud Prevention Month. And what is it, Fraud Week?
Well, Protect Week, but we're kicking it off June 1st with you, Chef Christine.
Woo! And today, do you guys know the whole thing about the first in the month that you're supposed to say bunny, bunny, rabbit, rabbit? First in the month. You know this, Karen?
No. Why am I supposed to say that?
Weehawken. I love Weehawken. I used to live in the city. I have family in Northern Jersey. So I think it's either Welsh or English. It's, an old wives' tale. My husband's mother used to tell us that on the first of the month, the first thing you are supposed to say, even if you're in Southeast Michigan, is bunny, bunny, rabbit, rabbit, and you'll have good luck for the whole month. And then I always say bunny, bunny, rabbit, rabbit first thing on New Year's Day, because I feel, see, Amy knows, because I feel like it gives me extra good luck. I'm a super lucky girl, though.
Mine luck comes and goes. Bunny, bunny, rabbit, rabbit. Many, many bunnies have many rabbits. Just bring it all in. I'm just getting a visual of the bunnies and the rabbits doing whatever they need to do to create more bunnies and rabbits. But this is a family show, so there you go.
I just realized you guys can see my legs here. All right. So hey, it's nice to see you. All right. Today, I was thinking Mediterranean diet. Now, I'm going to let you guys all know. I have started taking this course. It is ruining my life. It is, thanks, Nancy. It is a food as medicine, health in food kind of course for food professionals. And it's all about the Mediterranean diet, really, which isn't as crazy as like a keto and I'm not yucking your yum. If that's your vibe, do what you do. But they're talking about heart health and different things like that. And you guys all know I'm a heart attack survivor. So Mediterranean diet is something I'm really playing around with a lot. Lots of olive oil, not lots of butter. Karen is a huge health nut. She eats super, super well. And also, I'm just going to let everybody know, Eleanor just posted the recipes. They are all in the chat, I think, somewhere, so you should be able to find those. They'll also be sent out after class. But today, we're going to do a Greek chicken meatball, and we're going to do an olive oil cake, because dessert is dessert. Am I right, Karen?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's, honestly, we have to have, this is Protect Week. We're kicking off Protect Week, and the least we can do is kick it off with dessert.
And look, Kathy is already telling me she's Italian and Greek. See, listen, the Irish, the English, the Welsh, the German, a proud heritage, but the food, not nearly as good as that along the Mediterranean coast. So we're going to kick it off, Karen, with dessert first. Maybe we can tie it all in. You guys should go back and look at the demo Karen and I did together on Thursday. You can find it on the AARP Maryland, Best of All the States. Sorry. But you can find it on the Facebook page there. So let's talk. Ready, Karen?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Christine. Let's talk.
Let's talk cake.
Yeah, let's talk cake. And while we're talking cake, let me just throw in there, for those of you across the country who don't know, Maryland has a campaign, AARP Maryland has a campaign called Protect Week. We do it from the 10th to the 17th, or it's usually the middle of June. It always coincides with World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which is always June 15th, and it's honored across the world. So what we do here in Maryland is we have a huge campaign to help educate people about the scourge of financial crimes, how they can protect themselves. We have webinars, we have a press conference that kicks everything off. We will have a teletown hall on June 6th. And during the week of Protect Week from June 10th to 17th, we will have social media interviews. Ted Meyerson and I will be conducting interviews with lots of experts who will be talking about new laws, we'll be talking about new techniques, new scams, and also the new things that you can do in this crazy fraud-impacted world that we live in. And that you're not powerless, and that it's not your fault if it happens to you. We're just here to help you. We're your trusted ally to help you fend these despicable, not bunny rabbit people off. So there you go. And to see what I did there.
I did see what you did. This is, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm going to start my mixer here. This is the scariest darn thing to me, because I really feel like I've got, right? It's not a consideration for me to think about being scammed. And I'm 56, right? And I think, Francis, when we did our demo the other day, I told everybody that I will tell you my scam story. So I'll let you, but I want to show you the cake first, because I got things to do today. So I have got in here my quarter cup plus a tablespoon, basically 5 tablespoons of olive oil and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So when you make an olive oil cake, back in the 80s, they had these things called snacking cakes. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. Snacking cakes were like, it was a cake you could make in the microwave, and the box turned into the pan. And it was and it was a little more dense cake. You didn't necessarily, they had some that had frosting, but you didn't necessarily put frosting on it. And I always think of that, like a really dense cake that you're not going to layer. Oh, good, Kathleen. Or do anything like that too. So our fat here is olive oil, because olive oil is just, it is better than butter. Butter tastes fantastic. I'm telling you, you'll love this cake. But we're going to take an olive oil that you like the taste of and put it in here with the sugar. We're going to beat it, and then we're going to add an egg, one at a time, 3 eggs total. All right, Karen, do I still have you? I know you're not on screen, but I still have you there, right?
You absolutely have me. And listen, I've got a question for you, Chef Chris, because I've been, I like to keep track of all things food. So I've been reading a lot in blogs and just in social media about issues with olive oil, like getting adulterated olive oil, or it's sort of like olive oil blended in with cheaper oils. It sounds a little scammy, like fraudulent olive oil to me. So my question is, how are there brands of olive oil that you recommend, and how do you know, because it may not always be revealed on the label?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, there are definitely places out there. We know everybody's trying to scam everybody nowadays. Not us, not me. All right. But we know that that is definitely a thing that happens. So, excuse me, guys. When I'm buying olive oil, number one, you can't tell when you go to the grocery store, right? So I always try to look for something that says 100% extra virgin. And I try to look at the labels, because they should be including it. Now, if it's somebody who's bad and they're lying on the label, there's nothing you're going to be able to do. I think there was a 60 Minutes expose on this. Sound familiar?
Sure was.
Yeah. So I say do your research. I just kind of go with what I like, and I realize cold press, first press. Kathy, you know what all that means, right? I'm sure Kathy does. She's my Greek Italian, right? I look like my dad with my hair like this. Oh my
You
gosh.
do not.
No, I do. If I show you a picture of my dad, you go, Christine, you look like your father there. So I've got my eggs in there. I've got the olive oil. I've got the sugar. And here I'm going to do my dry ingredients. So I've got some cake flour. Now I have a great, it's not a scam, it's a trick. But I have a great trick for y'all, because if some of you are saying, Christine, I don't have cake flour, what are you doing? It's an easy substitution. All you have to do is, for every cup of cake flour that a recipe calls for, instead, you're going to do a cup minus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. That's it. That's it. And that will give you a substitute for cake flour. All right. Now, I have got my dry ingredients: 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2.5 cups. Bread flour? No. No, bread flour's for bread. Do you guys know the difference between these 3 flours: cake, all-purpose, and bread?
No.
Cake gives you, there you go, Kathy. Cake gives you a lighter crumb. It has less protein. All-purpose, the middle amount of protein. Bread flour, think about what we want from bread. We want chew, we want all that good stuff. Bread flour has the highest amount of protein in it. So you can think about this way. You can go from one step to the next, but you can't skip a step. Hey, Sue, nice to have you back. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of zesty zest. And I will tell you, I love this little grater here. And I've seen people lately going, oh, if you're a real professional, you do it this way. I've been doing it this way for longer than they've been alive. So you guys all know what I'm saying. So we're just going to do it this way. It's fast, a little flack. There we go. There we go. Eleanor's doing her job. Okay, whole wheat or white wheat? Now, listen, it's a cake. It's a cake. It's a cake. So when we're making a cake, we
just lean back and enjoy the cake.
Eleanor, Karen knows my deal here. It's like there's sometimes you could do it, but you know that white whole wheat or whole wheat flours are gonna give you more chew. Think about, have you ever had, hey Karen Smith, have you ever had a oh gosh, pasta, whole wheat pasta, you know how much chewier it is? Think about that in your cake, your poor cake, right? All right, so a little bit of zest. I'm gonna mix it up. Woo! With a little power and intention.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question? This is really walking it back, but extra virgin versus regular olive oil. What's the difference besides which olives are having sex with the other olives? Because I'm like extra virgin, they're like really not having sex, and they're like in habits or something. And the regular olives are like doing it up like the bunnies and the rabbits. See what I did there? See, back to the bunnies.
So it's a scale, right? Extra virgin, first cold press, that's like the queen bee. That means that it has less than 1/2 of 1% acidity. And I know we don't think of oils as having any acidity. I'm going to alternate dry with wet here. And I just have some milk. We're going to start and end with dry. So cold press means they use pressure only. If you find an extra virgin olive oil, but it doesn't say first cold press, and first means that's the first pressing of those olives. If it doesn't say that, that means they went back in and perhaps they used some heat to, right? Because olives are full of fat. That's how we get all that oil out of them. All right. Oh, I'm spilling. So perhaps they use a little bit of heat. You can get a pure olive oil And that means they haven't added anything, they haven't done anything. Those are really what you're going to find at the grocery store. If, last of the liquid there, if you are in catering, you may be able, or restaurant work, you may be able to find something called pomace, Pomace. And it's not like pumice. It's not like what we use on our gnarly feet. Pomace is the oil that it's the last bit. You would never use it to in a dressing or something that would be right. So it's different percentages. How much milk? Half a cup. Half a cup. All right, we're gonna pull this guy out. I've got all my different size cake pans. I did not think that my legs would be on display today, guys. Sorry for scaring y'all.
Thank you for that explanation, Chef Chris, because these days we not only have to be aware of what food we're buying, the labels on the food, but how the food was made. You know, how processed is it?
Yeah, the more processed it is, the more the worse it is for you, right?
Generally speaking, yes.
So that's why I make a lot of my stuff. All right, Jane. Jane, that's how my grandma spelled her name. I love it. All right, so I forget what the question was now, Jane. I got so excited.
What size pan are you using?
9-inch. And Sarah, ask that question again because I know I have an answer for it. I got 100 things happening right here. You guys can't see this because it's really funny. My son is here and he just like walked so you couldn't see him, grabbed his keys, went the other way. This is the life I'm leading.
Christine, Sarah asked, is it true that extra virgin should not be used for sauteing due to its low smoke point?
If you're gonna, okay, thank you. I knew the answer to this one. Yeah, if you're gonna do a high heat saute, right? If you're going with high heat, then it absolutely should not be used because you're gonna burn the oil. Sarah, have you ever heard the phrase smoke point? Because what smoke point is the point at which an oil burns. You know how avocado oil is really popular right now? That's because it has super high smoke point. It's good stuff. Grape seed, has you guys ever seen grape seed oil? Here's a hint. If you get grape seed oil, oh my goodness, do not use it to make a dressing. I remember thinking I was so smart one day using grapeseed oil to make a dressing for a friend. Oh, I'll show you, Kathy. And it had no flavor. It was not good. So be judicious with the use of your olive oil, okay? If that makes any sense. All right, now, you just saw my parchment paper trick. All righty. Here's the thing. Whenever you make a cake, I don't care what kind of cake you're making. I don't care if it's a 9x13 cake. I don't care if you're making a loaf pan. Doesn't matter. What I want you to do is I really want you to line your pan with parchment. This is a trick I learned 100 years ago back in culinary school. We take a sheet. This is going to sound really sentimental. This is a box I pulled out of my mother's house after she passed. So every time I use one of the sheets, it's like a nice little moment for me. I usually use bigger sheets of parchment. So this one has a fold. I take it and I fold it. Right now it's in quarters. It's like you're making a cutout snowflake when you're a kid, right?
I was terrible at those.
I know. You know when you make that one deadly cut and they go, Karen, and it's like the whole thing falls apart. That just made me more determined. So I just do it like I'm doing a snowflake. And there's no precision here. I'm just folding it in half and half until I'm at a place where I'm comfortable. Then I flip my pan over. I put the center, the end in the center, and then I just cut. I just go and I go in a little bit right along the edge. I make it easy.
Wow, that's a great way to measure to get the right size for your pan. That's awesome.
If you want, Karen, you want lazy, I am your girl. Let me tell you. All right, so I've done that here. I'm gonna put the barest sprinkle of flour in because I do like to give it a little love, right, on the sides, just to make sure. Just to make sure. And then very carefully, I'm gonna do it right on the pan. Are all parchments equal? Yeah, I'd say they are. I'd say they are. I know that one is from some kind of dollar store, right? And I get mine commercially. I buy it. I still have it from when I owned my cooking school because you would buy 1,000 sheets at a time, and a sheet with. Karen, have you ever seen those big sheet pans? Like they're gigantic.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So they were for that. So everyone does 2 pans. All right. Now I'm going to get this in the oven. And Karen, you know my scammy story, right?
No, please tell me your scammy story.
This is my scammy story. And this is truthfully why, or one of the reasons why I actually think Protect Week, and I kid you not, I really think it's so vital because it's not just seniors who maybe are having memory issues that are going through this, right? It can hit anyone. We've talked about that, right, Karen?
Yes.
We're gonna go in the oven. All right. Let's set a timer. I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes. We'll see. Yesterday they were fussing with me and taking a little longer. Oh, thanks. Oh, Kelly. Mom's house always has surprises. It does.
My mother's house did when she passed. Oh my goodness, like my 6th grade report card. It's like, how many decades has it been since I've been in 6th grade? Why do you still have this card, Mom? Who I couldn't ask because she wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? Keck.
I think my 6th grade one as well. Isn't that funny? And it was like, Chris seems to be having some issues. She seems unhappy. I was like, well, that's 6th grade. So Mom had passed. I'm going to start my meatballs, and I want you to know to start the meatballs, I'm taking 2 pieces of regular old white bread. You can use whatever you've got. If it's like a really hearty bread that has a great crust to it, you may not want to use the crust if it's really crunchy crust, but we're going to make something called a panade. It sounds fancy. It's basically a little bit of fresh bread with a splash of milk. This is going to be our breadcrumb for it, just so y'all know.
Nice.
All right. So, Mom passes. I'm the executor because, of course, I am. I'm the oldest. I'm the girl.
I was the executor for my mom's estate, too.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's an important job. And my brothers and I get on really well. We love each other very much. No issues. But one of the things, if you have not had to do this, one of the things that happens is you have to create an EIN number,
yes,
an employer identification number with the federal government for the estate.
Yep.
I have done this. I have run a business. I have, this is not news to me. This is not new. I'm going to take this. Now that it's got that milk kind of absorbed, I'm just going to get in and squish it. I'm just going to squish it. It's a very tactile experience today. So you have to do an EIN number. I've done it before. I ran a business for a number of years. Got it. I go on. I hit EIN into Google. It comes up. I go in and I start filling out the form. And I mean, my mom's been gone, I don't know, maybe a month at this point, maybe not even. I'm just trying to handle things. And they're asking a lot of questions. There are questions about, my mother's maiden name. There are questions about my maiden name. There are questions about my social security number. All of this stuff. And I get to the end and it's asking for a $250 payment. And like I said, I've done this before. So for me, I'm a little confused because I'm like, I didn't think I had to pay for this. I have account. of ground chicken here. So I had gone to EIN.com, I believe, instead of EIN.gov.
Right.
And no, not in the mattress. And it was
in the mattress.
If you're doing this, if you're doing an EIN number, there is no charge. They don't want any of that. It is a simple form with a couple of questions. I didn't hit submit. I don't know that it mattered. And now I have to have freeze on my account just to be safe, because I was so, I was at peace, but I was thinking about my mom, and I was in the grieving process. So I was really mad that I had fallen prey to that, because
you didn't fall prey, because really Google's not your friend anymore. I mean, I'll just say that for the record, Google's not your friend, because these criminals have figured out a way to jigger the Google algorithms so that even if it's a company that's received like massive complaints, because of the volume of activity, that can kind of punt that scammy company to the top of search results. And these scammy companies sort of rely on you not looking past the first couple of search results. So if you just click on the first one, you're not going to go to the third page or the second page or even to the third result. And so that's what happened. And that's happened to me too, Chris. When I was helping my sister with her birth certificate around the time that my mom died, she needed a birth certificate as part of the estate, and she didn't have one. And when we went to Google, the first thing that came up was some company that wanted to charge to go like get the birth certificate for you. But in the state where she lives, third-party companies can't do that. They're prohibited by law. But that came up anyway. And if we had gone with that, then nothing would have happened, because they wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, I know what you're going to say. I felt really stupid. I'm going to grate some onion here so I don't get big pieces. I felt really stupid after I did it. And I know go ahead, say what you're going to say. Because I know you're always.
It's not you, it's them.
Yeah. I get it. So imagine, I remember my mom, as her memory started to go, I remember she would say a lot, "Oh, I feel so stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid." I was like, "Mom, you're not stupid." But I figured by telling folks, it's going to help in the long run, right? By admitting my failings, because I know there were things where she wouldn't tell me. She would know she had made a mistake, and she wouldn't tell me. Because she felt stupid, not because I was going to be like, "Oh, Mom," but because
same thing happened with my mom. I'm a lawyer. I'm the one who works on fraud, not only for AARP, but in my career, I worked on white collar crime issues. I drafted legislation. Did she tell me when she was like caught up in a scam? No, I was the last person to find out. I never would have said anything to her disparaging about her. I would have had nothing but vitriol for the creepy people who were doing it to her.
Right. Karen, I didn't know you were an attorney.
Yeah, guilty. I mean, oops.
This is critical to know. What is on your apron? You need my little polka dotty apron? What is oven temperature? Melanie, $3.50 for the cake. You are welcome. This is my cute little polka dot apron. We talk about fraud and we wear cute aprons. It's who we are. Deb, you're awesome. All right, so I have some fresh oregano from Casa Van Bloom.
Love fresh oregano.
Do you see this? Kathy, our Italian Greek, just said, "Karen, you are a delight."
Aww.
And Eleanor, I think I saw that Gina had a question and I missed it. I apologize.
Gina, let's see.
You guys don't know. We had the whole crew working today.
She knows she was a little late with this question. She said, "Is there a trick for a fluting pan, as you have the 9-inch pan, i.e. parchment paper?"
Oh, parchment paper in a bundt pan.
Oh, in a bundt?
Yeah.
No. No, you're on your own.
Yeah, just
There's nothing to help you.
Sorry, Dina.
I know it's so bad. I'm gonna
don't
add
bump
an
me,
egg.
don't scam me, don't do, just, whoa.
Okay, I will tell you, there is something called pan release that you can make. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's a mixture. Yeah, the fluted bun pan. I know exactly what you're talking about. And you've seen those fancy ones. They look like what? Castles, or they're just like beautiful bun
yes,
pans.
yes.
Yeah. So always do a test run. Always do a test run, please. Don't like think you're gonna take it to a party the first time you use it. But you can make this pan release. And I know we said Google is not your friend, but I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to pan release, I think you can do a Google search and be okay. Oh, I'm squishing this and I don't even want to. All right, so here's the thing. Pan release is like a paste that you make, and then you use it, and I would say, do not rely on spraying. Don't rely on it. You are gonna like brush your pan and really get it, like really get it, okay? Because that's your only hope. This is whenever I have to peel onions or garlic, I have probably taught, I'm not even exaggerating, I think I have taught how to do cut an onion 1,000 times. I really do. And I still get nervous every single time. All right, this guy, now notice I used it for the cake first, but I am going to grate my garlic because I don't want any chunky chunks here. Oh, yeah. So there is a spray, there's a nonstick spray out there that has some flour in it. I'm just gonna say, if you're a cake person, if you're doing it, cut twice. What was that? Was that cut twice, measure once? Have you ever heard that? That cracks me up.
I think I have.
All right, so because I'm making a meatball, I don't want big chunks here. I'm doing this. And I'll tell you what, in this class that I'm taking, one of the things that they're saying, and this is so true, is everybody automatically goes when you're making something, oh, just use turkey. Oh, I'll just use turkey instead. And I do not love ground turkey. Oh yeah, that's a good baking spray. You can check that. I do not like the turkey. And they're like, don't do that. It doesn't make it good. Lori has had her hand raised. Felicia, look at you. Lori, what's up?
I'm sorry, I can't type. If I type, my whole screen goes black. Thank you, Felicia. Could I buy you a house in the country or a new car? My question is, the only ground chicken I've seen in the stores is white meat. Is that what you're using?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. So here's the thing that you want to look for, okay? You want to make sure, if you can, let's see, mine says ground chicken, 100% air chilled. Air chilled is really good for chicken, just so you guys know. Vegetarian fed, free range. Wow, that was a happy chicken up until the very end. But mine, they should not be just chicken breast, because I'll tell you this, it's gonna be dry. It's just like turkey, right? It's gonna be dry. You don't want that. Okay, now here, I'm gonna put a little, could I use some parchment? Yes. Am I? No. I'm gonna do just a little oil on my pan. But I would say, whenever you're using chicken or turkey, ground chicken or turkey, look to see if it says breast on it. If it says breast, it's gonna be dry.
Chris, you said you don't like turkey. Is it because turkey tends to be too dry, or do you just have a thing about turkey?
You know, it's like, I don't love a turkey burger. People will be like, oh yeah, make a turkey burger. And you know, Karen, you and I may differ here, because I know you are really healthful in your eating, but I don't eat burgers very often. I really don't. And I gotta say, if I'm gonna eat a burger, I'm gonna eat a burger. I don't love the flavor of turkey. Now, that said, cinnamon? There's no cinnamon anywhere here today. All right. I just don't love the flavor. Now, I just saw a question come up about the ground chicken. Can you hit me with that one? And be really careful once you grab it in your hands.
Jane was curious what percentage of fat is in the ground chicken.
Okay, let me take a look. Hang on a sec. I'm very cautious with my hands after touching the chicky chip. I don't know if this one.
I'll tell you, Chris, I do try to eat healthy, but I don't think there's anything wrong with ground beef. I love a good burger. I will try and buy grass-fed beef, and that's a lot more available in grocery stores these days. So if I'm making my burgers at home, it's going to be from grass-fed, but I love a good burger.
I love a good burger. All right, here's what I'm going to do. My mixture feels a little loose to me, so I am going to add a little more breadcrumb to it. I'm going to do a little panko crumb just because it's what I have. The chicken doesn't have a percentage on it. I will tell you, in this 1 pound package, it is a 4-ounce serving, and that 4-ounce serving has 1.5 grams of fat. See, Patricia and I are. All right.
Could you use ground beef in that recipe instead of ground chicken if you wanted? Can you make the meatballs out of ground beef?
Yes. Okay. So just had a question about, could you do gluten-free breadcrumbs? The answer is heck yeah, because what we need is it to help it stick together, not so much to build a gluten structure. So this is a great place. We're looking for, this sounds silly, but we're almost looking for the dry or the absorption, right? And that's what we're going.
Debbie wanted to know, can you add oil to the ground chicken meat?
Yes, and you know, my recipe actually calls for a little bit of olive oil, and I didn't put it, I just decided it was a little loose. And I think yeah, we're good. I think I should have added a little lemon here, but I'll tell you what, my tzatziki is going to be really good. Oh, you know what, Rose? I'm going to talk to you about that, because I'm going to tell you right now, Rose, I think that ground lamb here would be phenomenal.
Yum, yum. I love ground lamb and a good lamb burger.
And a good lamb burger. You and my husband should hang out. And with the tzatziki, it's super easy. Now, if you are doing something that's really sticky, like chicken and turkey get really sticky, it's just what they do, then you can, if you're not doing it on camera in front of 500 people, then you can go ahead and have a bowl of cold water and dip your hands in the cold water before you roll the meatballs, because it's the warmth of your hands that helps make it a little sticky. I don't know if you guys knew that. Oh, Donna, you're so good to me. Thank you, Donna. All right, now I want to remind everybody, in addition to Protect Week that's coming up, I'm going to have Karen give us those dates again. But in addition to Protect Week, we're going to take July off. All right, so I will miss you all terribly, but I will see you the first Saturday in August. And I'm working on menus now for the whole rest of the year. If you have anything special, drop me a line. You know you can find me. All right. So, Karen, hit me again with those dates. And is everybody doing this? This is across the country with AARP, right?
Well, the Protect Week is an AARP Maryland campaign, and it's not just AARP Maryland. Actually, AARP Maryland is one of like about 16 or 17 different government and nonprofit organizations. It was actually begun by the Comptroller of Maryland like 7 or 8 years ago, the idea, because the Comptroller's office was part of like this grouping of agencies and organizations, and they were looking at elder abuse and saying, you know, is there some way that we can get out more information about ways people can protect themselves? And AARP Maryland was one of those partners. So, you know, so we and they have been doing it ever since. And so this is why. And and the dates change depending on the calendar, but the idea is to always coincide with World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, whatever day of the week that occurs on, then we have Protect Week cover that day. So this year it's from June 10th to June 17th, but we have some events that are starting before then, like today. And 2 days ago, when we had our demo, when with the recipe that we promised was no scam, we had that discussion, and now we're talking about, meatballs and the scourge of fraudulent olive oil. But, but then we will also have like our June 6th teletown hall. We will have our June 10th press conference that officially starts off Protect Week. During that week, we will have social media interviews that Ted Meyerson and myself will be conducting. We will also have shred events that are free all throughout the state of Maryland, hitting all the corners, the West Shore, the Eastern Shore, the top, the bottom, whatever. We've got a shred event for you. And we'll also just have like information on our website, aarp.org/MD. And you can even add Protect Week there if you want to. But if you just go to aarp.org/MD, you will find on that page a way to easily click onto all things Protect Week and what the partners are doing, as well as what AARP Maryland is doing.
I love it. I just love it. So listen, Marianne, thank you. But I know we have a lot of you guys from all over the place. Oh, Adelita, I think that's how you say it. I apologize if I said it wrong. I'll tell you in just a second. I love working with AARP Maryland. I love the programs that you guys offer. It's a delight. It's such a great organization. And I don't care if you are in Texas or you are in Wisconsin, or if you are in, where else did I see? We had Virginia. We had so many good places. Oh, stop it, Eleanor. And I don't care who you're with, you can take advantage of this program. Oh, thank you. You can take advantage of these programs. It doesn't matter. You don't have to live in the state to tune in to all of these things. Now, shred events, yeah, you got to come to Maryland. But otherwise, we're all right. Now, yeah. Adelita asked why I didn't peel the cucumber. Because, baby, I like a hothouse cucumber, right? These are the ones that have very few seeds. These are the ones that the skin is much more tender. And if I'm being totally honest with you, and I pride myself on that, I really like the color that it gives. And as a person of a certain age, I really like the extra fiber that it gives. It is not hard. It is not chewy, I promise. Check this out. You ready? More nutrition. It is an English cucumber, Lisa. All right, do you see that? Do you see that? I didn't even salt this puppy. Look at that. Cucumbers they're like watermelon, right? So
much water. I like Persian cucumbers myself, Chef Chris.
Those are the little guys?
I like the little guys.
Yeah. Now, I didn't salt that so you could drink that, but I'm going to make up our tzatziki right here. All right. And I'm going to take, and I don't want you to get hung, look at my cucumber ball. I don't want you guys to get hung up on using a recipe. Okay. Really, this is tzatziki. This is not like famous French or Parisian pastries. This is tzatziki. All right. So we're going to take that cucumber. We're going to take a little bit of Greek yogurt. Now, this is non-fat because that's the one they had. I don't mind the one, Karen, I don't mind the one that has a little fat.
I prefer the one with fat. It has more flavor. It just has a better mouthfeel to me than the non-fat one, but that's just me.
It does. It does. All right, so check it out. I'm going to do this. I like the Greek yogurt because I like the viscosity of it. But if you're like, no, I don't, that's not my vibe, you can make it Greek yogurt essentially by getting a strainer, lining it with paper towels, and then popping it in, covering it up, and putting it in the fridge overnight.
I make my own yogurt, Chef Chris. I'm making some. I put in a batch today. I fermented for 36 hours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What's your heart, Karen? That's so good. I did get like an Instant Pot so that I could do that.
Yep.
I have made yogurt. All right. Now I know we had questions. Here is some cumin. Bam. All right. And here is some dill. Do you guys see how I'm storing that? I don't know if you can see this. I put it in a little container. You can use a glass that has a little bit of water in it. Store it in the fridge.
Oh,
And
that dill looks amazing.
It's so good. Remember that we can always add more, but we can't take it away. All right. And it smells so fresh. I used to, when I first moved to New York City, I lived I was in the East Village, and I was really close to a bunch of Ukrainian restaurants. And I worked a second job in a boutique, and my landlord was this small, mean Ukrainian woman. And I remember there was a little deli called the Stage Deli right beside the Orpheum Theater. And they would do this chicken soup and take a whole stem of dill and fold it and put it on the top of the chicken soup. I thought I had died to heaven. That and all the pierogies, forget about it. All right. All right. So I'm going to take a little of this fresh dill, throw that in there. And I like the tzatziki because it will develop a little more flavor over a day, like the longer it sits. I have some fresh mint. Are we growing it in our yard? Yes. Are you guys starting to get yummy things now that it's June? Are you starting to grow the yummy things?
I'm growing some basil on my kitchen windowsill, but that's about it.
It is. I love it. I love to do eggs and go out and get the chives and be like, oh, the fresh chives. Oh. I feel so superior. I won't lie. Mint, rosemary, basil. Yeah. See, you got it. Eileen, I hope you have mint planted separately. Oh, hydrangea. Yes, I love the hydrangea.
Yes.
So what I planted was peonies. We have had some
love peonies.
Yeah, we've had some and they're so fragrant and not in a bad way. All right, so I've got this going. We're gonna chop them in. My mint is, because it's real, outside volunteer mint that keeps coming back. It's a little chewier, right? It's not a super tender leaf, so I want to make sure that I really get it nice and small. But when you're chopping, you want to make sure that you're not herb scissors. I don't know, Ruth. They might take my chef card away if I start using herb scissors. All right, so I want to go ahead and chop this nice and finely, but I don't want to chop it so much that I leave a really green board. Lori, you are not in the East Village right now. Where's Meredith? Northern where? I got northern, and then it gave me the ellipse. Eleanor, where's Meredith live?
Meredith.
She's in northern.
Too hot to plant those flowers in Northern California.
She's east of Sacramento.
Rio Vista.
All right, now I've got this for sure. This is gonna need a little pinch of salt. I'm trying not to lean too heavy. Can't grow them in Tucson. Well, Tucson's pretty. Yeah, Eleanor, is California our furthest today? Because we have a friend who usually comes in from Hawaii.
Yes, Hawaii's here. Hawaii's in the house.
Hawaii's in the house. I was just talking about you. That's amazing. And sometimes we have somebody from Alaska who comes in. Adelita, I'm going to add a little garlic. You and I, great minds think alike. Look at that. All right, I'm going with this. We are cruising for bruising right now. Yeah, Adelita, I'm just like, why not? If you want to kiss me, love me for my garlic breath too.
Hey, I've got another question for you, Chef Chris. I know she's using a stand mixer. Are there times when you should use a stand mixer, or times when you really need to use like a hand mixer, like the portable mixers, or does it not matter?
Okay, so if you want to be clued into my decision making today, Karen,
yes, I would, please.
I will tell you the reason I chose the stand mixer today. Thank you, Adelita. It is authentic and yummy. The reason I chose the stand mixer today is because I have a really cool glass mixing bowl. So I wanted everybody to be able to see what was in the mixing bowl as I was mixing it. but I really did consider using a hand mixer. That recipe, you don't want to over mix it. You want to be really careful so it doesn't get tough. So I think a stand mixer is good for when you're doing something that takes a while, right? So let's say you are going to do a bread, or let's say you're going to do, I don't know, kneading a bread, or, oh, I like this for all the attachments. I love to make fresh pasta with it. You know, there's so many cool things, but it just depends. Like a stand mixer, I think is great when you want to be hands off. Phoenix is going to be 110 this week, Ellen.
Yikes.
Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
I used to have an aunt in Phoenix. All right. So never, you know, she was the aunt that nobody ever went to see her. Too bad. All right. So I know. All right. Let's try this. Now, I'm a big proponent. 101 Meredith in Northern California. That doesn't sound right. Reno. Oh my gosh. Ooh.
That looks so good.
You know what it needs? It needs umami. It needs a little more salt. Now, it looks like I'm adding a lot. Oh, Robin, it's just who I am. We need a little salt, but I don't want to make it, okay, this class that's ruining my life, it's sodium, Karen. It's the sodium. The sodium is the thing. The sodium is the thing that's everywhere in processed food, right? We know it's so high. I forget, our daily recommended allowance of sodium is either 22 or 2,300 milligrams. That's 1 single teaspoon of salt.
Right.
That's it. And for me, I'm like, because I always like to say, oh, I'm really good at salt, because I am. But I feel like I have to learn this, right? Especially as a heart patient.
Sure.
I really, because I'm a big fan of living. Like, I love it.
We're a big fan of you living too.
Huge fan. So,
and all of us.
so it's trying, you know, it's such an interesting thing to try to when your palate is used to something and adapted to something, changing it. Woo. All right, now I think this guy might need a little more time, but I want you guys to say, look at that.
Oh, that looks lovely.
So pretty, right? You know, he might be good. I think he's good. All right, so I'm gonna put this on the cooling rack, but don't do this. This is for TV only. You ready? It's so good, right, Marianne? And I'm telling you, I will make some homemade lemon curd after this to serve with it. Now, this is way too hot. Don't do this. Okay? But I want you to see. See that? That cake just pops right out because
parchment paper.
That parchment right there, look at that. Now, I'm telling you, don't do that. Let your cake cool for about 15 minutes. You know, Marianne, do yourself a favor. If you have a high-speed blender, you know the kind I'm talking about. If you have a high-speed blender, then you can make lemon curd in the blender, and it will cook. It cooks.
Yep.
It has to be high speed. It will cook itself so that you don't have to worry about the egg.
Yay.
Right.
That's a great tip. I have one of those blenders. I'm making some lemon curd today.
I'm telling you, it's so good. There's a website called The Kitchen, and they do, they have a recipe for it, and it's so great. All right, let's see where.
I never thought about doing that with my high-speed blender who shall go unnamed, which shall go unnamed.
I try to be very, you know, I'm sorry I don't give you guys all the brand names and stuff. It's not something I'm supposed to do. So I will dance around it. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yes, you, Marianne, do it loud, do it proud, baby. So what I'm checking for with these guys is to make sure they're at 165 degrees. That's the important thing, because since we're using, oh, Lori, look up lemon curd, but don't try and make it on top of the stove. It's a nightmare. It's like 45 minutes, but it's too much. So any ground meat, any ground meat, as I played my meatballs, must cook to 165. It's super important. It really is. You want your rare burger? That's fine. I respect your decision, but I'm not going to be serving it to you. You know?
Right.
Just,
and you really need a meat thermometer. You can't tell by how it looks or how it touches. A meat thermometer is really it's not a luxury, it's a necessity, I think.
Yeah, I will say that I am, you know, for a steak, it's a different ballgame. I'm pretty good. That was something they taught us. I worked at a restaurant in college, and I remember it wasn't a restaurant of fame, and it was a chain. And I remember watching all the chefs, and I'm going to call them that in air quotes, nice guys. I remember watching them touch all the steaks, and I was like, ew, what are they doing? It was the 80s. And it was basically, they knew how to touch the steaks and see what was done, you know? And I can do that too now. All right, so I've got my meatballs. I've got my tzatziki. I might make a little Israeli couscous because it's so delicious. I've got my cake over here. And my friends at 11:58. Oh!
Bam!
You know, Eleanor was saying, how are you going to get this all done? I'm like, we're moving with purpose and intention. We're talking about Protect Week. And we're going to say hi to all of our wonderful, wonderful people that come on and watch us. Hey, if you're new, if this is your first, thank you, Francis. If this is your first time, give us a little emoji or something in the comments, because I want to say hello to our first timers. And of course, you guys know, all of you, that Lisa from the Bronx, you guys know, I just love having you here. So first timer, thank you, Kai, thank you, Deborah. Oh, Jane, you're so sweet to me. And hey, everybody, a big thanks to Karen too. Aww. Look at all these first timers, Eleanor.
This is
Alex
great.
From South Carolina. Gina, so good. Oh, I'm so glad. Listen, I'm Christine Van Bloom. You guys can Google and find me, and you can see other recipes and things that I do. So again, we're not going to see you in July. I miss you already. But we're going to see you for Protect Week. I hope everybody, do me a favor. Will you just go and like the AARP Maryland Facebook page?
Yes.
Really, it's one little click. Wonderful organization, wonderful, wonderful. And whether it's for you or whether you have an aging parent, right, Karen? We want everybody involved in Protect Week, because knowledge is power.
And if it does happen to you, it's not your fault, but there are things you can do to put yourself less at risk, but it has nothing to do with how smart you are. Let me just dispel that myth right now. Fraud doesn't happen because you weren't smart enough. Fraud happens because you are emotional. If you're human, you're emotional. We all have emotions. That's how scammers get you. They make an emotional connection and they weaponize it. So do not feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's not you, it is them. They're criminals.
Yes. They are criminals. They are. So we're going to leave it on a positive note. Hello, Mark. There's Natalie.